the save from your goalkeeper, the obvious one.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, even you must have thought that was it, because the whole ground was sort of stunned silence.
Yeah, I mean, it's important that players can contribute in the way that they're selected to do. I think, look, for such an experienced goalkeeper who has the fire in his belly to go out there and perform, you know, he's the type of player you can look in the eyes every day that you work with him, and you know that he'll do what he can on any given day to deliver. So, yes, a couple of really good saves from him, and one unbelievable one for sure. But I think, you know, for all the possession and pressure that Sheffield United had, we still kept them at arm's length to a certain extent. You know, it was. I wouldn't try and suggest that we were on top of the game, but we had our moments, and we made it difficult for Sheffield United to find that winner. And the important thing for me is the fact that we showed some real traits of resilience in what is a difficult place to come. It's a difficult place to be, to deal with the type of atmosphere that's created here, and in our situation as well. Bearing in mind some of the times we've had to deal with disappointments in games, to come away with a positive result in some ways is good for us. And you know, the mantra is, I suppose, if you can't win it, don't get beat. And we had to dig our heels in today, and we had to be resilient and sometimes ride our luck. But we go away with something for our efforts. So there we are. And when you play here as well, you know you're going to play against a brand of football which is really, it's a fabulous brand of football. I think it's very refreshing for the game. But of course, every brand of football has some weaknesses, and our goal was an example of being able to exploit maybe the one type of weakness that how they play will present you with, and that is, you know, a swift counter-attack. And you know, I thought it was a really good goal from our perspective, just in that regard. And we had a couple of other promising situations, and but I'm happy with the result. Because I didn't feel that we were in charge enough during key moments to force a win. But I was also pleased with how we were prepared to put our bodies on the line to keep the ball out of the net.
Is it a?
I can hear you without that. You don't need that.
Is it a psychological lift when you look at the table and you're not at the bottom as you were?
I've just been asked that question. I wasn't aware of it, but so I suppose the answer is it might be, but I really am very single-minded in terms of just looking every time that we play at our own fixtures. For me, it's not about how we extrapolate how the season's going to go from here on in. We've just got to make sure that we do enough in our every game that we play to try and make some progress. If we climb, fine. But we'll still have setbacks here and in. So you can't. I don't want the players to start getting involved in a feeling of progression and then a setback. I want them just to look at performances of a standard that we're happy with and that we are accountable for. Given time, has a better chances of us avoiding relegation. Simple as that, really. And you know, sometimes you can apply pressure on other teams by getting a good result. Sometimes we'll play after other sides, and there might be a little bit more pressure externally. But the best way to deal with that is to really not take any notice of any of it and just try and isolate what we do on any given match day. I think that is the most sensible way, and it's probably the best way of being able to function still as players and as a team for us, of course.
Nigel, in that sense, you said you don't want them to look at the table and pay too much.
No, I didn't say I didn't want them to look at the table. All I'm saying is don't worry too much about what other people are saying about what it looks like, because all we've got to do is the only results that really are going to matter to us is our own over the course of the rest of the season. So I'm not saying don't look at it. Some people will want to look at it more and more. I won't spend a lot of time trying to work out what permutations are at the minute. All I'm going to be doing is trying to affect our own performances. And if we do that, I think that makes sense. It would probably affect our own results in a way which we can at least make reflections on, rather than we've played well, it's not worked for us, somebody else has had a fortunate win, woe is me. I don't see it like that at all. Not for me.
Nigel, did
Yeah.
Troy train at all with the players before this game? Obviously, he had his baby week, or game to game this week.
No, he's done some training, but we've tried to offload the players as much as possible this week. Just bearing in mind that we've don't have a lot of depth at the minute. We've got some key players who hopefully will be back. So the likes of Welbeck, Cleverley, maybe towards the end of January, February, may be back in contention, but they might not be. But we have some key players or some strength in depth who are missing. I think what's important for us is to try and keep the players that we have available at the moment as injury free as possible, and so the balance between doing the conditioning work, the injury prevention work, and still being able to go out there and play with an intensity which I would like to play with, but we can't always do that because we play today, we play Saturday, we play whatever day it is after that, and then it's like congested so much. The training sessions will be there'll be a lot of preparation and recovery sessions. There'll be I think limited pitch time for the ones who are playing a lot of football, and of course what you've also got to remember with Troy is he's played very limited football pitch time this season so far. He's come back from a difficult injury, and he's played now. He played against Leicester, Palace, Liverpool, Man United, Sheffield United today in a relatively short period of time, off the back of not really having a lot of football. So it's never easy to get the loading right for players, especially when you're talking about joint injuries. And he's a more senior player now. So
Nigel, speaking of injuries,
yeah.
how is Saar? Was that a precaution? And what's the...
Well, it was head injury, obviously. The conversations that were, just to clarify, people want to know about the situations were, firstly, is the player okay? Is it a concussion situation? Concussion wasn't really the subject of the conversation. It was more the fact that he got a knock on his eye, which was swelling up at quite a fast rate, and so the protocol that we have is to make sure that first and foremost the player's health comes first, and as soon as I'm satisfied, or rather the doctor is satisfied that there's not a concussion problem, then it's about my call as to whether it's to make a change so close to half time. And so Roberto was ready to go on, and he was fine in the end, not going on. He came on obviously at half time, but we just decided not to create that change just on the cusp of half time, because we wanted to assess whether the eye would continue to swell, making it impossible for him to see. It did continue swelling, and he's okay. He'll be okay for what day are we? Saturday. So I suppose a benefit of that is Roberto's had Pereyra's had 45 minutes, and Ismail's had 45 minutes, and will be relatively fresh, which is good for us. So you know, sometimes you can't plan for stuff like that, but sometimes the outcome is okay.
Nigel, the delayed kick-off,
Yeah.
how much did everyone know about what was going on, and how much did it affect players?
Don't think it affected them at all because I think it. Okay, so what did we know about it? I just heard there was a potential security situation that needed to be clarified. The referee came in just to start with, told us that there would be a delay, and then very quickly he was advised that it would be a 10-minute delay. How did that affect us? Players were very calm about it, as were we as staff, because you know, from being ready to go out, it's just, look, lads, just calm down for a bit. And actually, I didn't then do any more. I didn't do any more team talk. I just said to Troy, look, on 5-6 minutes past, just get together in the corridor and get yourselves back into a state of readiness, and out you go. There's no, for me, those sorts of situations don't require anything other than calmness. You can't do anything about it. Best thing to do is to just try and rewind 10 minutes and go again. A bit like an old tape deck, eh?
Nigel, can I just ask what you would like to see from Andre Pereyra? He's had a difficult year or so in terms of scoring goals. How can he be a positive, do you think, for your team going forward?
He's got pace and he can stretch teams, and he will be important for us to be able to bring to the team what clearly his strengths. So, you know, at the moment, in my time here, his opportunities have been limited. But as I've already said, the games programme now is so congested that it goes without saying that. Well, I tell you what it does. It tests a squad of players' belief in what is the squad ethic. So it's all right saying, yeah, we've got a strong squad ethic, but actually what really does test you out is whether, when players get the opportunity to go in there and take it. And for me, he's a player that I know will bring some different qualities to us because he's got more pace to run the channels. I actually spoke via message with Joey Barton the other day, and he was telling me that, you know, he's a good lad, and he'll do well for you. So I know he's a different type of player for us, and his opportunity will come. And what he's got to be, like everybody else who's currently on the edge of the team or on the cusp of getting a chance, is they've got to be able to take the chance when they get it. And really, that's the squad ethic that we have to sort of live by, really.
You've mentioned a couple of times, Nigel, about the really quick turnaround.
Yeah.
Just how difficult is that?
Well, it is, but it is because what you don't have a chance to do is do a lengthy debrief about today. It's all about the recovery's already started in terms of nutrition, in terms of going into the cryo chamber, all those types of stuff that we will implement tomorrow. You don't get an awful long time to get your prep right for the next game in terms of spending time on the field, because clearly the day before a game normally would be at the end of a week where you've had your technical practices, and then it's the day before is quite often just the fine-tuning of that. So, but we're all in a very similar situation. I think there might be another day for one or two sides, but again, I don't overthink this type of thing because I can't do anything about it. So really, I look at what the solutions are to the situation rather than I'm not moan about it. Would I like more time? Yeah, probably. So would the players. But I think if you ask most players, they would probably say, "Yeah, I want to play." Rather than train, they want to play. So it's not ideal. It's from a physiological point of view, it's not great, but it's what we've got to deal with. So just get on with it.
Last one from me. Are you looking to get a period of time where you can coach these players, having not been at the club particularly long, and there's so many matches in such a short space of time?
I already feel that we've had a couple of really good weeks in terms of preparation. Are you talking more from a technical angle or just getting to know players, or both? I mean, for me, we're mid-season. To make training adaptations is difficult. So what I mean by that, if you want to affect the overall fitness levels of players once they're involved in the games program, it's quite difficult to make those subtle adaptations. It's working. It's living and working in the present, and I'm not gonna get bogged down with trying to think about situations that are not practical at the moment. I know we've got some good players. I know we've had some difficult psychological issues to deal with in terms of not winning at home until last week. Having one win in the league before that. Those are big things for players to have to deal with, just because they know that they're, when you consider what happened last season and how well the club did, that it's a real shift. So the technical issues are one thing. I think what we have to try and do is get our squad and our working environment so that it's very positive, and the people who work within it do so with a more sunny outlook on life as much as anything.
Click here for more videos.